All right, everybody. So the Nintendo Direct just finished wrapping up where they showcased a bunch of games coming over to the Nintendo Switch. But there's one particular feature that has the internet going crazy, and we're going to speak about it. We're going to do a little quick deep dive into that specific feature. But before we go ahead and do that, if you are new and you do like what you see here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the like button as we keep on rolling, ladies and gentlemen, right into today's video. Now, we are gonna break up this video into 4 particular topics, right? So we're gonna get straight into it because I don't want to take too much of your time. Since I have a couple topics we're gonna speak on. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for being here, and let's get on with the video. So for the first topic of today's video, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Real quick, shout outs to Assassin's Creed, shout outs to Ubisoft. It has now crossed over 3 million players for AC Shadows. That's the second highest day one sales revenue in Assassin's Creed franchise history. It's the biggest Ubisoft day one ever on PlayStation digital stores. Best community ever with over 40 million hours already played. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Shout outs to Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. Absolutely incredible game. We are doing a live gameplay showcase here at the channel. We are gonna wrap up the campaign later on today live, right? So if you are new, please consider subscribing, and hopefully I'll catch you later on in the live stream today. We're gonna wrap up the campaign. It's been a phenomenal game so far. Unbelievable, right? Anvil engine, it's up there. I gotta put that engine up there, bro. What they've done with this is unbelievable. But we're gonna keep this brief. Shout outs to Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, now crossed over 3 million players. Excuse me. All right, let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen, to the next topic of today's video. And this is at PlayStationLifestyle.net. And yes, here we are, people. Remember this? Oh yeah, we back. We back, ladies and gentlemen. Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet development update given by Naughty Dog. So, one of the most anticipated PlayStation games right now is Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Naughty Dog's next adventure may be far away, but the studio head Neil Druckmann has an update that may excite fans eager to see what's next from the sci-fi adventure. So, this is what they had to say. During the Last of Us Season 2 premiere, IGN spoke with Druckmann about Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Although there's not much to go on with this update, he does confirm that they have the game in a playable state and that it is really good, he quotes. All right, so this is what he has to say, right? Let's do these. I will say, we are playing it at the office and it's incredible, Druckmann teased to IGN. It's really good. I'm so excited to finally put gameplay out into the world and show people about it, because we just showed you the very, very, very tip of the iceberg. The game goes pretty deep beyond that. Okay? Just that alone right there. That's all you need to pay attention to. All right? This is all we need to pay attention to. That little trailer that they put together for at the Game Awards, and the little bitty snippet of gameplay towards the end of the trailer, because remember, it is actual gameplay, right? That is the very, very, very tip of the iceberg. There's so much, bro. People are making so many assumptions and, predictions, and already trying to boycott the game and things like that. And we haven't even seen what this game is going to be, but just going off of Naughty Dog's track record, we should be expecting, phenomenal things out of this game, right? So let's continue on here. It is uncertain when Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet will launch, but it seems certain Naughty Dog's next game might be cross-gen, if not entirely next-gen. Specifically, reporter Jason Schreier claimed it will not release before 2027. So, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet was revealed during the Game Awards 2024. The trailer introduced its protagonist, Jordan A. Munn, portrayed by Tati Gabriel. The soundtrack will be done by the award-winning duo Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, with the trailer giving a brief glimpse of what to expect from its music. When Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, was revealed, it was met with some criticism from fans. Specifically, viewers of the trailer had an issue with the product placement, which included Porsche and Adidas. Gabriel responded to these comments from the gaming community in a previous Instagram story. He posted a picture of Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet's protagonist, Jordan, and The Witcher's Ciri chilling with the caption, "You mad, bro?" I'm pretty sure y'all know which post is that they're speaking of here, right? That's one that what they're both drinking out of a cup with a straw. I believe that's the one. Because you do remember, people are trying to boycott The Witcher 4 as well, just because it is now they switched over to Ciri being the main protagonist, right? So that's something that people are raging about, right? And mad and things like that. So once again, we did cover this. I believe it was in yesterday's video, right? When Jason Schreier came out saying that he don't see it being released before 2027. But remember, I told you that I'm just going off of, the time frame when PlayStation usually from when they announce the game to when the actual release of the game, right? It's always within that 18-month period. So that's why, when I read Jason Schreier claiming that it's not going to release before 2027, it seems odd to me, right? Because why would they announce this game, bring out a trailer, and the game is nowhere near done, right? That's not something that SIE usually does, right? And there's no point in doing that. I'm not interested you showing me a trailer and it's still 4 to 5 years away from releasing. I'm not interested in that. And listening to Druckmann saying that the game is in a playable state and he cannot wait to show the world how incredible this game is. It's telling me that they're getting ready to put out another trailer out there with official gameplay or something, and I'm hoping that it's in the next rumored PlayStation showcase that it's rumored to be coming this May or June, right? So let's keep our hopes up for that. Hopefully it does happen and we do get to see the second trailer for Intergalactic. I can't wait for this game. Y'all already know how I feel about this. And yes, the Last of Us Season 2, y'all get ready, is gonna be incredible. So that's it for this right here. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section below. We're gonna keep it moving right real quick to the next topic here. This is over at psu.com. Rocksteady Studios job listing points to PS5 and next-gen system for an unannounced AAA title. So, a new job listing posted by Batman Arkham series developer Rocksteady Studios has indicated that its next project, which is heavily rumored to be a new Batman game, will launch on PS5 and next-generation systems. The job opening is for a senior core engine programmer that will be working on the as yet unannounced project and mentions Unreal Engine 5. You can read the full description here. So this is it right here. Rocksteady is looking for a senior core engine programmer to join our team working on our upcoming unannounced AAA title. The role involves writing, extending, and optimizing the low-level engine code and systems of UE5. You'll be building a sophisticated technology to tackle some of our most challenging problems. So you'll also guide our content creators and game coders developing tools to help them profile and optimize what they've created and supporting them in their use of the engine. Your work will enable the team to deliver the highest quality game experience on our target hardware, including high-end PCs, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and the next generation of console. Rocksteady suffered a major setback of his latest project, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which sold below expectations and deviated considerably from the company's usual template, being a live service title. Earlier this year, it was reported that Rocksteady Studios was working on a new single-player Batman game, although nothing official has been announced yet. The Bloomberg report that broke the rumor stated that the project is still years off at this point, which does make sense if Rocksteady is still hiring for the project. And that's the end of this article right here. This is just a quick update, right? One of the biggest being is gonna be on Unreal Engine 5. That's all you gotta know. UE5 games, you know how they are. Always pretty much comes buggy, giving causing all sorts of issues, right? So just get ready for that. My advice, if you're staying on console, is to upgrade to the PS5 Pro. It is the best gaming experience you're gonna get on a console. You're not gonna get anything like it anywhere else, right? So unless you're trying to upgrade to a high-end PC, and we already spoke on that, where that's gonna take you, right? And the type of money that's gonna take for you to get to cross over, right? So I'm just putting that out there. The PS5 Pro is handling a lot of these UE5 games very well, right? So, and Black Myth Wukong being one of them. So that's it right there. This game is still years away. So we did report, remember, that Sony was trying to lock up this game to be a PS5 console exclusive, but it's looking like that's not gonna be the case now, being that in the profile they're saying that it's gonna be Series X, high-end PC, and next generation consoles. Also, it's gonna come out the tail end, like 27, 28, 29, and by that time, we'll probably already be talking about the release of the PlayStation 6, right? So that's what they're talking about, next generation of console. All right, so keep that in mind. So we're still way out, of this game releasing. But there it is. I just wanted to update y'all on this. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this one. And we're going to continue on to the last and final topic of this video, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're doing pretty good on timing. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. So this is over at Eurogamer.com. And, we just finished watching the Nintendo Direct. And this was basically the one thing that had people talking after it, right? It's this right here. So Nintendo unveils virtual game cards that'll let you share your digital Switch and Switch 2 games with second console or family group. So Nintendo has unveiled a new feature for Switch and Switch 2 that'll let players share their digital games with another console or family group members in the same way they might swap a physical cartridge. It's called Virtual Game Card, and it's initially launching for Switch 1 in late April. Here's how it works. Once the feature becomes available, any digital purchase made will be added to the associated Switch as a virtual game card. By default, any registered users on the main console can play the game, just as they would with any other digital purchase. But there's obviously more to it than that. Virtual game cards are managed on a separate screen, with players able to choose whether they consider loaded or ejected. An ejected virtual game card can firstly be played on the second Switch that's owned by the same main account holder, with users able to freely eject and load cartridges between up to two owned machines. Nintendo notes local communication with other consoles is required to enable the feature for the first time. However, virtual game cards can also be lent to anyone within a Nintendo account family group, which can be supported up to 8 Nintendo account users. Again, this initially requires the lending user to connect to the family group member's console locally, after which it's simply a case of choosing the title being lent and who's it being lent to. Only one game at a time can be lent to each member within the family group, and only for a total of 14 days. After 2 weeks comes to an end, a virtual game card will be automatically returned to its original owner. Expect the virtual game card to feature in much the same way on the Switch 2 when it releases later this year. And speaking of which, we're less than a week away from Nintendo's long-awaited Switch 2 Direct, which would provide details on everything from launch titles to a release date for Nintendo's hugely anticipated next machine. Things kick off next Wednesday, April 2nd at 2 p.m. in the UK. And we'll be keeping tabs on all the important stuff with fingers and eyes. So, just real quick on next week's Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, we will be live streaming that here, right? So make sure y'all pull up. We're gonna be watching it together. The time is finally here, man. Time is moving so fast. You know, when when they just unveiled, you know, the Switch 2, when they gave us that little quick trailer, right? And us having to wait 3 months. Remember that? I was pissed. I'm like, you're gonna make us wait 3 extra months to do the official unveil? And bro, here we are. It's crazy to me how time is just flying by, bro. But yeah, so we're gonna be here live streaming it, so make sure y'all pull up, man. We appreciate it very much. Now let's continue on, right? Let's talk about a Nintendo Direct real quick, right? It was a bunch of games that they announced that was coming over to Switch. They also had games like Patapon 1 and 2 that's coming over, which is a SIE game, right? Coming over to the Switch. They did announce the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, right? Which is something that a lot of people were hyped about, right? Not me necessarily, not much. The one game I was really hyped about that I saw was the Marvel's game, right? Marvel's Cosmic Invasion, I believe is the name. Looks, you know, incredible. That's the one game that I say caught my interest, right? Other than that, I didn't really care much about any other game that they showed in that Direct. You know, so to me, that Direct, if I was to rate it, I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 because I only saw one game that caught my eye, and that was it. I didn't even know why they did a Nintendo Direct to begin with when we were getting ready to set for the new Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2. So what was the whole purpose of this? Was it this? Was it, you know, to basically unveil the virtual game cards? Maybe that's what it was, because the games that they were showing, they weren't hitting, right? So I was confused as I was watching. I'm like, what is happening here? What's going on, right? So I'm guessing that this was the main attraction that they wanted to get out, right? But yeah, anyway, besides that, me saying that I didn't like the Nintendo Direct, it only shows you, if you see that Direct, it shows you, right, their primary audience. So this is why I keep saying there's certain games that should not be on this console, such as the new Grand Theft Auto 6 that is being, you know, heavily rumored to be on the Nintendo Switch 2, being that the Switch 2 will now be capable to run these type of games. But I still don't think that type of game should be on this console. Why? If you look at the Nintendo Switch Direct that happened today, that should tell you everything. There is no game on there that any type of adult should be coming out of here, you know, clapping hands like, yo, that Nintendo Direct, did you see that? Did you see this? Like, no, absolutely not. The one game that I see a lot of people talking that are adults is the Marvel game, because that's something that appeals to us, right? Other than that, and the Metro Prime, but I'm not really into the first person Metroid. I pass on that type of game, right? So it should tell you their audience, bro. It's clear that that's the audience that they target. So, but let's focus in on here, right? Let's focus in on here, because this is what I need to speak to you guys about right here, right? This is the main attraction of this video. Here we are, right? This is what they introduced, the virtual game card. Now, I did read to you what it does, this, that, and the third, but we're gonna cross over because we're gonna bring you over to Gemini, right? And check this out, right? I asked it, what was the difference from the Nintendo Virtual Game Card and the PlayStation's Family Share? Now, check this out, right? So, Nintendo Virtual Game Cards, right? Up to here. Functions, right? The system allows users to manage their digital game purchases as virtual game cards, enabling them to load and eject the cards between the two Nintendo Switch consoles owned by the same account. It also introduces a lending feature within Nintendo account family groups, allowing users to lend for a limited period, 14 days. Requires a local connection for initial setup between consoles. Key features: it mimics the physical game card experience for a digital title. Limitations on concurrent use and lending periods. Focus on transferring the game data itself. So the focus is flexibility in moving digital games between a user's own consoles and temporary lending to family members. So you're only going to be able to temporarily lend the game to family members for a period of 14 days, which is 2 weeks. Absolutely disgusting. You know, that's just gonna basically force the parent, because you're gonna lend this game to a family account member, right? To a family member. They're gonna enjoy the game, but guess what? After the 14th day, it's automatically gonna shut down, and you will no longer be able to play it. So what's that gonna force that the parent to do? Buy another version, a second copy of that game. That's all it's gonna do. This is straight up milking the cow right here. Get another strategic way to get you to spend more money. Nintendo does not drop any game sales on their eShop, right? Never. Almost close to never. And if they do, they'll give you like $10 off. The game could be 8, 9 years old. You still only getting like $10 off. You know, PlayStation's giving you sales non-stop. It's almost every month now that there's a new sales happen. There's a new sales happening right now, if I'm not mistaken, on the PlayStation Store. Right now, it's a new one that dropped. There's always sales happening, right? Nintendo, never. Almost never. So adding this is just another way of, you know, getting parents to spend more money. Nobody sees a problem with it. Nobody's talking about it. I don't see this Nintendo Direct happen. I don't see nobody having no rage. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's going live, you know, expressing their frustrations with Nintendo because of this Nintendo Direct being so trash, right? When PlayStation had their state of play, everybody was turning on their cameras, you know, going live and saying, "Oh, how trash that PlayStation state of play was," right? But nobody cares about this Nintendo. This just finished happening right today, and nobody's talking about it. Everybody's gonna give them a pass like they usually do. We know that it's next week that we're gonna get the real games and things like that. I don't care. The thing was, they planned an event for today, and this was the event. Your job is now to come on here and speak your truth. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Which games did you enjoy? Right? Which ones did you not? What are you gonna rate it? Because this is what you do with every showcase that happens, right? This is what you always do. So why isn't it being done with this Nintendo Direct? Because it's a kiddie show, right? It's a kiddie show. But that goes to my whole point. Nintendo Direct consumer are the kids, right? The children, right? If that's what the case that you're going with. And to that I say, that's why right there you're making my case as to why we should not be seeing titles like GTA 6 being launched on the new Nintendo Switch 2. That's why right there. Because I know the excuses are going to be, "Oh, but the Nintendo's for kids." I know it. So that's why nobody wants to go so hard at Nintendo. They all know, you know, The Nintendo family with Mario, Donkey Kong, Luigi, you know, everybody. That's why nobody wants to go that hard on Nintendo. But it's because it's for kids. We're only adults gonna like a specific amount of games, you know, that we're gonna gravitate to. Outside of that, we gone. We on PlayStation again. So that's the thing that I'm trying to say here. Like, where's everybody at? You just go back to the state of play that just happened a couple months ago and go look at the reaction after that state of play was done. Just go look at it. You can see it for yourself, what I'm talking about. So, anyways, this is the big thing, right? That came out of this direct. It's basically virtually you owning the game, and let's say you going to someone's home, right? Instead of you taking the physical disc with you to your family member's house and putting it into their Switch, you now have it digitally, so you don't have to, you know, buy the physical copy and then go over. It's just gonna come with you digitally. That's all it is, right? And you can also lend the game, but it's only for 14 days. So now let's compare it to PlayStation's family sharing, because this is what it is basically, right? Like, where is it? PlayStation. Okay, this right here. Sorry. So this is what it is. When you're trying to, if you're trying to compare it to something, it's to this. So let's see what Sony has to offer here, right? The function. This feature allows users to designate a primary PlayStation console, enabling other users on that console to access their digital game library. Okay. It also allows the primary account holder to access their library on other consoles. It's already beating it. Already leaps and bounds ahead of that Nintendo Switch one. Let's keep going. The key features, right? It relies on account designation and console association. Allows for shared access to digital libraries. No 14 days. No restrictions. It's just that. Focus on primary console designation. So the focus, enabling multiple users on a designated console to play the owner's digital games. It already knocked out the Nintendo games, what you call this? Virtual game card. It already knocked it out the water. That's it. Just with this little explanation that I just told you, it's already better. But this is another feature that goes, you know, over people's heads and nobody's talking about it. Especially right now, right? That Nintendo brought out this virtual game cards and seeing what it is that it does, right? All you got to do is compare it to PlayStation. That's all you got to do. This feature been here. So, lending. Nintendo system has a specific lending feature with time limitations. PlayStation sharing is more about granting persistent access on a designated console. There it is right there. And connectivity, Nintendo requires a local connection for initial linking. PlayStation system relies heavily on online verification. In essence, Nintendo's virtual game card offers a more granular control over digital game distribution with a focus on temporary lending, while PlayStation's family sharing focuses on broader library access within a designated console environment. And that's it right there. Okay? If anything, that is the end right there. I don't know. Let me see. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So you just read this last part right here, and this is it right here. It explains it all. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section down below. You feel like I'm right? Feel like I'm wrong? Let's talk about it. You know, the floor is yours in the comment section. Let me know how you're feeling about not just this particular topic, any particular topic that we spoke on today. Let me know down below. And, let's have this conversation. Right? So, thank y'all so much. This video already went far beyond what I expected it to be. We're closing in on 30 minutes. So, all right, we're gonna end it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for being here. If you are new and you do like what you see here, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the like button on your way out, and hopefully I'll catch y'all later in the live stream of the final gameplay of Assassin's Creed Shadows Showcase. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy, the Gifted One here, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. I'm gone.